ye fiada ene Friday ne yentufo enyume no so kase bo Ashanti Point TV so ne braso a gift ya bagna me de ensemo asemufo so ne so ne ditie ne di hwe eso mo Ashanti Point TV enyume no so e kase bo na wo kase so no gold board for ho abasem we ne nyamfo Sam George maku a woda no edom kuma wo mafie be mrahye be fie dia tudwa se wo monya obi omubi bia wo petemu na bansa nyina ahubi ya dabo ko hia Ghana mampeni His Excellency John Dramani Mahama no ode abasobo akọ amano ensem no dodo na ka wei mo ho anwumre me de esomwo mi twa me ho na mabasisia Yan konsem no so dom kuma wo ma hye be fie me tre dom kuma wo mu na edi edo ye MPP wo so ma yoku no anim e wo ma hye be fie e de atudwa se god board da wen munyam for Sam Sami Demfi eda no won hwe na omubibia omubeyibia no omo social media platforms me tre aba fontentan fide aba so ane obi adi djuma wo so yi wo mo so omo website nti se beboa de be koso bia wo djuma ko ni mu no omo mfa meto na amansa nyina ehunu bi na wo munyan se omo hye kokko mu e ne di djuma no.
If you go to the Gold Board's website right now, you will not find anything as contained in the Act. The Gold Board came into being in April. And if April, May, June, July, August, we've gone way past a quarter, so that all this information ought to be there. We hear of Gold Board appointing brand ambassadors, delivering or supplying pickups to institutions and what have you. But what the law requires them to do under Section 42 hasn't been complied with. And it is very, very dangerous, especially where the World Bank, the European Union, and other institutions are talking about where Ghana is headed to, especially in the fight against galamsey. Especially also in the Gold Board's own act, which talks about sourcing and traceability. Where is the Gold Board getting all those gold from? Is it from responsible mining? Is it from responsible mining fight against galamsey? Especially also in the Gold Board's own act, which talks about sourcing and traceability. Where is the Gold Board getting all those gold from? Is it from responsible mining?
Ya twa kase bone so openi ya ni dini Yusuf Suleiman na wono na wo hwe wodoman koma bode ne nsase ho nsem Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources dia tudwa wo kire mu se ku a won motete no wo nkrase ni nkronkro awodo so a na won mo edue nua ne eboabo maburu ya no a na won mo edue nua na kire se ama bebia ye green kama se de obo ade pe no na okoye se wo makatua no ma na wo mu tie mu fra ban no se aban no enchene ni mehwe wo mo ne no ano mo so dididie ene wo se nyame ayadom eno magua mu a enche bia omo ba betua safo nyina ka na boa ma wo mo so atumi dia ho hare ne anigye aye adwuma.
Afforestation program commenced in 2018 and it was phased out March 2025. At the time of phasing out the program, we were in arrears of almost 17 months' salaries or allowances, and the amount due was about 45 million. This has been duly audited by government, and we've received assurance that it will be paid in due time.
So the assurance to the young people, young Ghanaians who are involved in youth afforestation is that the arrears have been audited and that they will be duly paid at the end of the year. Is that the assurance we are getting?
Finance has audited the books that they have brought to us, and the information available is that we owe these young men and women 17 months. That is on record. And we are finding a way.
Aban no de atudwa wo chire mu se no kamia ko ese na hemfu nyina e de wo mo ho agi galamse ya e chire foma gudie ya wo mo entu ni mrakwan so no e na hemfu nyina de wo mo ho agim na no e na opani a wo no e na wo hwe eye obade enyuma wa ye so me chire ensase ni nua ho nsem so de atudwa o chire mu se mo nhwe de ni yipa mo safo na ahemfu na mo de mo ho agi nyuma bi sa mu no mo hwe yipa na emra pa wo kromu ha no mo a e che wo abetumi no wadi ni no pa ma we biase kra enye wo de.
We have a long list of logistics that we must get to support NAMO's effort. As you already know, government is doing everything possible. We have a long list of logistics that we must get to support NAMO's effort. As you already know, government is doing everything possible to push the agenda of responsible mining. We have established the COMSDE, or Responsible Cooperative Mining Program. And we are busily trying across the country to identify communities that are ready to engage in responsible mining, so we guide them to do the right thing without destroying our water bodies and our environment. Those who have agreed to join the majority of Ghanaians in this cause, we continue to invite them to come to our support. We are calling on chiefs, and very soon in the coming weeks you will see very clearly. I think we are getting to a place in this country. Some of the evidence we are picking is becoming very clear. That in communities where chiefs have made a vow to support the government's responsible and sustainable mining, those communities are doing so. But in some communities, in some few instances, we actually see some of those chiefs that are deep neck in the act. I think we respect our very traditional authorities. We respect our tradition. We respect our chiefs. But we are getting to a place where if we are caught engaged in illegal mining, we'll handcuff you with your. I actually see some of those chiefs that are deep neck in the act.
Yanswa kase bone so woba pani ani di ene enwonam telma dotse wono ena woye chief revenue officer chese hokọ eye yahye so Ghana ye nkuro ahodo a atwa ye ho ahia na saman atwa ye ho ahia ahia eda ye ntemu no wono ena woye base commander wo ho no wo de atodwa chire mu se akomi akoye se sei no emante ne maba wa ye fa wo munuma no aba fom ye mfa wo munuma enu nti nam so amene so bi peso wo man ni mu a wo musa enti ebeya aban no mfa mabunu emegu adwuma ni mu na mo ase de ebeya Ghana ye bambosem e wa hye so no betumi atintim megina ye.
When I say we understaffed in the sense that we have a lot of porous borders around this place. That's from Penny all the way to the Joje area. I think we should have more than 13 unapproved routes. So we need officers who will be able to be manning there so that they'll be going on patrols. But this is the situation. We don't have enough officers. I think I have only about 39 officers under me. And we have different seats and we have to make sure that we have people there. We run 24 hours, so they have to come for the night shifts and other things. So we cannot just let them leave their post and go to the patrol. So we need more officers too. And when we are able to get people to man those unapproved routes, I think we'll be able to rake in more revenues because a lot of things go through those sites. And when we send a few that we have and they go, maybe they cannot be at the same place at the same time. So as at when they are at a particular place, the village people, they will tell them that the customs are there. So they will not come around. But as soon as they leave, and then they will come. So we have to get enough officers that they'll be able to man all the unapproved routes. And they don't have shelters too there. So when they go and it is raining, the weather is bad, they don't have anywhere to keep them to stay. So they'll have to leave the place when it is raining or something like that. And it's around these times that they do their thing. So that when they realize there are no officers or there is nobody around, that is when they will bring in they'll come in with on customs goods and a whole lot of things. So we are just praying that they give us more.
Deputy Lands Minister Alhaji Yusuf Suleiman Nadia Tuja woye adwabo akoso a ene won mo public accounts ya ejumadi ya mpenimfo abnanom chese MPP mpenimfo na NDC mpenimfo a won mo atu won ho se won mo ebedie ni mu no papa pani dia Tuja onimonyamfo dia Tuja wo chire mu ese kame akoyese sei no filling stations ahodo ni gas filling stations ahodo a atwa man hu hia no obekom no na empenifo a wo mo politicians na ehye enye ne de a na chese wo stage a wo supervise enti yenhwe ne yie ne no ko baby a residential areas na na fu we boa ye dendenden wo ni nyina no waka ho asem.
How were they able to acquire these permits when they are in the hearts of residential areas? So I'll plead with you to ask EPA to also go through the rightful process in giving out permits. Because if you go ahead and give me permits and I invest so much in putting up a filling station or a gas station and later you come back to revoke, then one may ask, what made you give it to me in the first place? So I'll ask that EPA also follows due process and make sure before they grant these permits, they do all the necessary checks. Thank you very much.
Well noted. And let me also use the opportunity to appeal to all of us Ghanaians to also be mindful of the fact that when these filling stations are sited at wrong places, the risk is on all of us. And we're also told somewhere along the line that there's always pressure on these officers from big men, I don't want to be specific, okay, who even threatens them. And at the end of the day, they are compelled, more or less under some duress, to, or let me say, under undue influence, to give out these licenses when indeed, if they were to do it on their own, they wouldn't do it. And so on behalf of the minister, I want to use this platform and on behalf of the agency to appeal to all those who want to do business in these areas to be mindful of the fact that if you use any undue process to get it, you are only posing a risk to all of us. And so when the officers are telling you that
so Erica Jimai na wo deputy constituency secretary wo asua no ene wo de atudwa wo chire mu se kane tete no wo no na wo secretary defects edema openi oran munyamfo Kennedy akompre kwa Japan ne waso wode ne nkuku ne nkaka nyina gufom wa woro ne nsa afiri wo pani yachi e kire se ne no wo huru se de nyame na kwantie na wo huru se nyame akwan nyina etene na eye nokore ne peperiye enti no wane nyame ayi na di a kire ne se wonfa ne kuku ne nkaka nyina nkota wo huru animunyamfo Alhaj Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia Chinwono ene nyame yi no se wo ma melidi MPP 2028 yankopon ya adoma na wo hunu se bone a wode aye Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia ne die kire se wontumi mpo nkire mu nwie so ensemo a wo mo kato ni monyamfo iso na ma eye wo wu akompre ko Kennedy ya Japan nti ensemo a wo kato ne so a enye no kore wonu ne ho pa se wo kodi anifrafo yechi ma ensem sei wo mo kafa a wura ni monyamfo ho so wo mpe ne ho asem ba me aye obi a wo ye kronkron kra nya me bofo ne ne no wonu ne ho pa nti Ghana fo nyina fa nche no na MPP fo mfa nche no na wo mo mfa ni gie ne awusie ene adwumadene kwata wura ni monyamfo Alhaj Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia chi na nkunum dia botire meye ne dia na 2028 only the MPP amayukuno
asuma meka nyina ne se MPP ambe no ka sai me na meye constituency campaign secretary Emma Era Kennedy e Japan ene mejai because the Bible says you may see the truth and the truth shall set you free. Matese who says some of Mukafa about me, I want them in no, na yen throw some guan. I don't see and then begin they confess actually the whole constituency. Machidi for Mabamo now so in various police stations. Upon say he made free Ajumamui. Muina make matters to say, made the first constituency officer. Ya to abari me visit him was a babachi, I'm already music here. Maybe me a campaign fair. Asuma me catch mu ina no enne matesama no
That's na Agnes na momolate ye gender minister de ma won me chese wono e na wo hwe emofra ne ma enkan consem so na anybody atu dwe chire mu say no omo de nioma egu akwam mu se de be ya ema niema komu a emwa wo mo ne mofra no wo mo betumi asisa niema ne nyina no kwan na aboa mama so atumi atumpon wo mo ene mofra.
It is important to acknowledge that there are emerging challenges that must inform the development of Ghana's third national action plan, Ghana 3, to strengthen our interventions as a country. These emerging issues may include cybersecurity and digital threats, the rise of cybercrime, online harassment, and disinformation presents new risks, particularly for women or women leaders and activists. Ghana 3 must promote women's digital literacy and participation in cybersecurity governance. Violence, extremism, and border security. The threat of violent extremism within the sub-region calls for strengthened community-based early warning systems with women as active peace builders and mediators. Climate change and environmental security. Climate-induced challenges such as floods, droughts, and food insecurity disproportionately affect women, especially those in the rural and coastal communities. Integrating climate security into the women peace and security framework has invariably become imperative. Economic empowerment and food security. Sustainable peace cannot be achieved without economic resilience. Empowering women in agribusiness, renewable energy, and green economy initiative is essential in building community resilience. Coordination and financing. Sustaining the gains of the women peace and security agenda requires dedicated funding, effective intersectoral coordination, and robust monitoring and evaluation to measure impact and accountability. Ladies and gentlemen, as a way forward, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, under the distinguished leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, remains very committed and resolute in its mandate to ensure that the development and implementation of the third Ghana's National Action Plan will continue to. President of the Republic of Ghana remains very committed and resolute in its mandate to ensure that the development and implementation of the third Ghana's National Action Plan will continue to promote inclusion, innovation, resilience, and as well as active participation of women at all levels of peace and security. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, under the distinguished leadership of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, remains very committed and resolute in its mandate to ensure that the development and implementation of the third Ghana's National Action Plan will continue to promote inclusion, innovation, resilience, and as well as active participation of women. Ghana's National Action Plan will continue to promote inclusion, innovation, resilience, and resolute in its mandate to ensure that the development and implementation of the third Ghana's National Action Plan will continue to promote inclusion, innovation, resilience, and as well as active participation of women at all levels of peace and security processes in Ghana and beyond.
So share and rakasi ebo Ashanti Prime TV so and men on so a wote ye say and ra obe PM Ashanti mantem ha kumase a Santasi runabout China City Mall maybe e be abusumi na itwemu yi no e jakesi eto mu ananya nsem keto eno fire service fo na so odum ja aduma ekuo no ko PM no na ye kyerese aya tai so sebeye no mu bedum ja no na aya asem no emei Nadmo Kumasi Metro Nadmo coordinator Penny Odano Godwin Della Laho Edia tu dase ni nyina fa kese no aye adwumakuo mu Meka say no wo mu woni ma ye didimu ja a wo makwakoje wo fire service fo ho a egugo na so sebe ya wo mu be kire nkrofo na se bibi sesi a wo mu de asoso anu kopim se fire service fo be ba no wo mu nkire entis wo mu ko na odum ja adwumakuo no mama wo mu nioma na se mura ye didum ja no ana ebobo wo ho ba se jayi ba ye na nka mpanifo ana se maba wane mante e wo ho no ma ye adwuma no nim se de si use fire extinguishers na ka wo mu betumi aye den adum ja no na so o mantimi ansa no eno na nam so ama ja na gentre ha ne ahia se ne masa no na so be abrofu mu pe yi dot dodo China fo ne she dot dodo.
And this structure we have visited here before. My officers in Chiaeso, they have visited this structure. They've advised them. I think that was last month. They came here while we were also working at some other places. So we are doing public education.
When your officers visited here, what was the issue?
Normally, we come in, assess your situation, advise you on some of the things to do. If we even see that you have already done something that we think you should do to enhance whatever that you are putting in place. And it's true, they have their fire certification and so forth. So these are some of the things. But we also advise people that though they have fire extinguishers, but sometimes you need to be refreshing your people around the extinguisher. When you train them for once and you think, oh, they know how to use it, and you don't refresh them, you are making a big mistake. Even the fire service who's supposed to be training you, they normally have refresher programs, because if you don't do that, you might not remember how to use it when the incident occurs. So we normally advise that people should be having that training periodically at least, so that people will always be fresh about how to use the fire extinguisher.
So yesterday we had a confirmation that there's no any casualty. So after this morning, have you recorded something like
it? And you don't refresh them, you are making a big mistake. Even the fire service who's supposed to be training you, they normally have refresher programs, because if you don't do that, you might not remember how to use it when the incident occurs. So we normally advise that people should be having that training periodically at least, so that people will always be fresh about how to use the fire extinguisher.
So yesterday we had a confirmation that there's no any casualty. So after this morning, have you recorded something like that?
The only casualty was someone who was closer to the incident scene, and that person got a slight injury because of the rush at that time. And so far, not that to the extent that you say someone is dead or have had a casualty to the extent that the person cannot live or walk.
Oja kambia kwa sa afibi esan 2025 for so owo ho pa ye huna sem che bia ya te say China mo je dem wo ha ahye de ma se nyapade na sa so na asa kopie mu ewo eye Asunafo South District ahafo no region metre ahafo regional ho nso so eje dem wo den nursing training college wo ho no mo nso so no ja to ho ama ahye Trese mofra ya ikosuku wo ho no mo no enya asem ketua mirikatuo pa ne ade enye bete minim de ya bo man yiso awade hu ye mobo Enti we so ya reho sema abeto dwa wo kwapon skrum won man no na ya reho sema nyasem ketwa asemu afibi pa de aye bio na afi we susu di dwuma pa ya nto akase ye bone so me kai wo so da so a ehwe Ashanti Pine TV anwume no so ekase ye bone wani gusu a wo hwetie no ya to akase ye bone so de ane ye nkodwade mu nsem so na brantie ni monyamfo a enche ye bia obeji bumu ga na apreku pe me kire Richard ni amakwe odi ni birthday coffee fa celebrity si kire se Nigeria fo ni Ghana sikafo nketo ni emu akese eba ya enya asem keto abeje ntere ha wo my Ghana mudi atodwa etu emranti a wo mo pese wo musua no efo se wo pese wo nsoso tumi bede wo ho na nyuma wo ye wo nsoso tumi beye bibie nyuma de a eni kwanse wo ma bambuo edi woni nkan da bi emwoba mu muda se de ba sha se kuma bia no sere nyame na afu woni to fom na eya de na suade na no ba boa wa mo watumi aba be ye wo no se de wo pe no.
But I think that we have to, you cannot give what you don't have. Today, I may be seen to be giving, but I was never given years back. If but I think that we have to, you cannot give what you don't have. Today, I may be seen to be giving, but I was never given years back. If you are in bondage yourself, you can't set others free. You have to free yourself from bondage to be able to set other people free. Today I may be giving because I spent time focused to build. And so I can give focus free. Today I may be giving because I spent time focused to build. And so I can give easily, freely, and still have some for myself and my family. And so this is just an advice for all, but I think that we have to, you cannot give what you don't have. Today, I may be seen to be giving, but I was never giving. Just an advice for all of you, okay, myself and my family. And so this is just an advice for all of you, okay.
Mame Franco Piemo wo Bono East Mantamani Mudoma Central Penia wano enwe mrashebedwafo edema Doma Central Honorable John Kwame Dujak ase assembly members wo hono mono se wo momfa eya manyosem to nchen kra na wo momprimpuntuo emfa madoma man no mehre Doma Central se de beya oman no betumi akonanim strese ye de we ye MPP we ye NDC ni ebe to nchen na yemma oman nkan konienim ne no naboa amoman na gina
na ade a anopai mpese me de tuwa kakra se ba bia se ye do no se ya kasa ya nye nwadru wo ya na se uko asifiti na so ye de to gina ama na wa kasa na ye do ma wa wo ya no onye wa de so be no aduro no a wo ya de no onko ba dia de se ye no esese ye gina afiase se ye etwi doma eni doma enti ye leadership assembly members ne na sefo a ye didi doma men say asomfo payifo because don't forget say member of parliament ne asomfo payin a ne assembly member bia so asomfo so ne municipal chief executive already applied say already enter abra already enter odi Canada district no manage municipality enti babia dey say here I'm trying to believe say ye nyina tia say yes na madam amai atumpon that should be our aim na say yes madam amai atumpon there meaning say the concept of assembly no your word be say any partisan politics no at the paper so theoretically no ye nyina to say assembly concept is not partisan but in reality in practice and on the ground you say and namasie kakra ya nka ni emumu so aya yes president partisan but eshim kakra my plea is as your member of parliament for the Central constituency, I don't believe in any party or body politically when it comes to developing government.
Owie no na openi ya wono so MC owura ne onyamfo Dominic Adomame ya nso so de we esoso.
It is said that finance is the lifeblood of every organization, and for that matter, they need me to begin with the financial performance of the assembly. As of the 1st September 2025, the assembly had collected an amount of 1,383,245 seats, 20 pesos. Now, out of the projected amount of 2,766,640 Ghana seats, representing 50% of the total projection.
Diaju so ye betwa ye ho na ya fakase no so ahome ne ba ye do bebrewura nkofo man so na ye di ho nkomo. Yamfa kasia no ento so na me said mdi kai kachre go say konkofo man so no sane te yenko piem e wo Tanzania ne ho no e na wo mabatu a e koso ntie hu abetom enkofo a eti anasa manfo a won mo e wo Tanzania ho no mo e ma de titiriu ene mofra de wo mo ho akawura wo mo de da baby basa ni nyina yese hu ya abeto wo mo so abaso ni nti wo no mu kiremu a enkokrofo edi wo muso eno nti na aye hu a si ye betwe ho amamrante ye ba bie yi o nkokrofo ya Africa nkonwa yi aboso ne no nti won musuro se basa yo bi betumi esi eno nti ekomo ne awa chese oyo ne ya ato wo mu kire se ho no enya asem ketwa.
The aftermath of 2 days of protests in Tanzania as opposition parties challenged Wednesday's presidential election. Turnout was low, but unrest soon broke out, with demonstrators setting fire to a bus and petrol station and vandalizing police stations and polling centres. 2 people died. The government responded by shutting down the internet, imposing a curfew and deploying the military to the streets. Main opposition leader Tundu Lissu was imprisoned before the poll, charged with treason for calling for electoral reform. Luhaga Mpina, the presidential candidate for the second largest opposition party, was barred from running. On Thursday, the country's electoral commission declared that President Samia Suluhu Hassan's ruling CCM party had taken an early lead, with just under 97% of the vote in a handful of constituencies. Members of the European Parliament have said the vote was neither fair nor free and urged democratic partners to stand firm in the defence of democracy and human rights. A win for Hassan would extend the CCM's lengthy rule. A version of the party has held power in the country since 1961.
Ya tsaka na so ya da so jina mu won performance nsem yenko Sudan ne wona ntokwa isi mu wo trese enye ne ban tokwa 2023 ya mama kumako ene mofra 5.8 million eno na msoa masani padodo enyina akwanwuye hiamu a ama trese basabasa yo ekoso wo man ni mo binya ba bi na krono ne trese asawo ni ade trese nyuma bone ne ma bone die ebi koso wo Sudan man mo.
At this camp for displaced people in Sudan, women have been describing their harrowing experiences as they fled the city of Al-Fasher. The North Darfur capital was captured by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces on Sunday, with witnesses saying they went from house to house, beating and shooting people. Shelling and drone attacks were happening all the time. They hit us with the back of the rifles day and night, unless we hid in the houses. At 3 in the morning, we sneaked outside the house till we arrived at Hilat al-Sheth, where we were looted. They left us with nothing. I came here barefoot. Even my shoes were taken. With resources stretched at Tawila, some 60 kilometers west of Al-Fasher, this woman is building a makeshift tent with what she can find. The suffering was when we were searched, and they left us with nothing. Even our money, they took it. My brother and his friend were detained at the gate to Kani. We arrived in Kani. We had breakfast and water. Then they brought trucks and took us. I left behind my mother, my daughter, and my 2 siblings, and I came to Tawila. One of many stories of terror and loss as people fled the city that was besieged by the paramilitary group for 18 months, leaving residents cut off from food, medicine and aid.
Yanwa yekom hai na yenkopie mu Paris ho na chesagudie mu nsamso no yada boatumi akohia Ghana mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ne hono ode asida piesie mando wo meet the course asia wo kire mu se Ghana mampani ya yade ese watumi wo ba ye no wo de sika puduo ase football ni mu Premier League ni mu Manchester sei no e ko na ni mama na ni asopa na wa yade na santifo ne ka wo Mose das ye bimra biem ono so tete mofra sa sebeya omuso betumi enyi na wo mo atumi abebo ball ibi it is a man penny for na won twa nani mehwe wo mo amon so tetenketo no na wo mo so e bomodin pa.
Bonjour.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Please, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Excellency, welcome to Paris. I'm learning to make us a couple of I'm learning why Excellency Pentam take us a Mikachi. Excellency, Yada was it. Sawa Babes Lai, Paris. Men so me free Ghana ne bae. Na adia ba kwa me was sports me de bo abaso. Ghana football na baby Premier League edru no na mobo because bebo season na wie nyina wo betimanya 2 billion wo wini cap na obaye no enhyehyeye bia ba ansa na bebo Premier League ne kwa no ye ma titi sika ne 10 billion ye mo yansama excellency na Premier League no wo mu nyina wo wini so a unya titi sika no 20 billion na ne nyina chi no me so me into football double me wa academy papa me fan kola free street village orphanage na me ma campe wo me won kola more than 30 me ankasa me fidi wo ma no pa wi anumle na support na abama Premier League no yenya ye academy ne nso ye bre ye hiamoa because enne ya qualify for World Cup ye ni age but yenya ye wo ase no yenso ne tete nkwala na eba sakura na wo fom no wa hu bo ne bo a obenyina o hu bo ne bo enti no excellency ye be sra wo se twawani na behwe Gabo Soccer Academy any coach football any academy aka e Ghana. Thank you for ye ni age but yenya ye wo ase no yenso ne tete nkwala na eba sakura na wo fom no wa hu bo ne bo a obenyina o hu bo ne bo enti no excellency ye be sra wo se twawani na behwe Gabo Soccer Academy any coach football any academy aka e Ghana. Thank you for this opportunity.
Agudie mo nsem so no Ghana Premier League match day 8 no fear day Bechem United FC 4 any Nations FC 4 de hye so and 3:00 PM ya ene da so no nana fosu diabo park no omo so antimi anse bi obi antimi anse ena saa no ochina ya mene wo kase ochina Saturday ya ochina memene da Saturday ya 1st November yi Ho United FC enso so any Madiama SC 4 so be best so 3 PM me kire anyume no me ensa pepepepe eno so be koso Ho Sports Stadium sanso so ena kwasia da 2nd November no 2025 ya kwasia da ya wo china echi ya Asante Kotoko SC any Karela United FC 4 so the best so 3 PM na wo Baba Yara Sports Stadium Sana Dreams FC enso so any FC Samatex 1996 4 so the best so wo Tuba Astrotef omonso so the best so e wo honom Swedro All Blacks FC 4 so ne Heart of Lion FC 4 and so the best so 3 PM on Swedrum Stadium sa and so and na Gold Stars SC any Young Apostles FC 4 so the best so baby any park and so and also 3 PM and na Basake Holy Stars Basake I almost so any House of Okufo at the best so 3 PM and also so sa and a Brekum Chelsea FC4 any Vision FC4 so the best so Golden City Park 3 PM sa and na Monday no a year Jordan no 3rd November 2025 no 11 Wonders 4 any Adriana FC 4 so at the best so Swedrum Sports Stadium and also so 3 PM until Sabring minim de me support enkoma na Asante Kotokofo de mo de kyerese mabo na anu ya moko ayi yesa de ko redre mo ayifo no enkofo ya ba be hye o mo yikra no from sepo ayi mo ba mo krom ha e de be hye mo san to a mo krom ama wo mo san ekokọ hye mo Asante Kotokofo ya mo giye ni masesa mo ku ye ni masedodo mo ni se wote kokọ so na ne nananu enimo Taman ya isa de mama woni anabon ma mo be hu juma me de bedi mo Asante Kotoko mo mama ni na ho me support koma mpa da de ye no e ka ne akwa se me yi makoma ne madwene de ko yi House of Oak fo ko so mo no kra no de ene onyama na fa bekum Chelsea fo so bo modern ohu insise na sha me withdraw so yanko ani jide ka se bomu wendi se ni mutuni wendi se eni ekoti asori o no wa yon se ekoti asori o no wa yon sa ekoti asori oh my god producer say no odin ekoti asori the producer ekoti asori muhu ekoti asori wendi se ese ono je nyunto wo ni moje mu firi tete nana no penso e kire se wo hwa oni mutuni a ni di ene nana mpedu a wenye ne baby koi no o legend wo ye ni mutuni etu wo se nana mpedu na ne nana no enti no wo no nyumto no enya de fofo enti mu ma ne nyemwa se wo to nyum de sa no ai ye kwoti asori o ai kwoti asori o emi kwoti asori obi kwoti asori ayemfa kwoti asori Adempa kwati asori yo ene ni producer so kwati asori eno ni enyum tumi when the say no en wo say ne kwati asori wo kwati asori no fa firi ne nana ampeduo ai on wo kire no se de ti asori emema kwati asori wo say kwati asori ya kwati asori ya kwati asori ya kwati asori ai o say moja de nyum to wo moja mu wo mu fie enti no wanya de fofo bia yemfa wei na yenyina we somfa ene kase boni nyina emra wieye na mi ameje vekin kan kase ne ma wono mi dindi gifti abagina kindela femi gift na meje wo so me director ye adwempo no ye samufuo eso ne kase ne me de somo nyina eso na sa na me producer de ye kire se mi hu de me nye wo kra se so ma adwuma ne simple what se adwuma na se what ya se mi new producer yi manya producer for kwa brownie one kansu what's the adwuma na se ma adwuma ne easy and simple kwa producer na mi sure wate I mean sure bebre my emfa we emfa ensi na kase no na me adoma o chena nyume no nso senhia me se ya me da se wa agi brete fie hwetie kase hye ma wadofo koso a na eta mu chuku ne wo ne papa bebre de bre wa Ashanti Prime TV ye YouTube no ko ha no subscribe ye videos no wa share nyankopon ya adoma o chena makra